Hello and warm regards from Next Styles team. Welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis. Today is 3rd October and the topics that we are going to cover today include: the first topic is National Pulses Mission. A new mission has been launched by the Union government to boost the production of pulses in the country, which are very important. So we are going to study what is this whole mission about and what is the importance of pulses. The second topic is biostimulants have been banned. 11 biostimulants have been banned by the Union government, and we are going to see what are the biostimulants and how they affect the plant growth and what are the reasons for their banning. The third topic is Sir Creek's dispute. This is a dispute between India and Pakistan, and we are going to see the location and what is this dispute all about. Then fourth topic is about the safeguarding digital economy, the cyber frauds that are happening, the thefts that are happening, the digital arrests that are happening, what are the reasons for that, and what measures we can take to safeguard our digital infrastructure. And lastly, we are going to discuss about the e-waste management. An enormous amount of e-waste is being generated in the country. A lot of mobiles are being sold, a lot of electronic equipments are being sold, and they are generating a lot of e-waste. And how this e-waste is being managed, what are the challenges there, and what ways or what mechanisms we need to enforce so that we can have a proper management of e-waste. So let's start with the first topic, that is National Pulses Mission. The first topic, that is National Pulses Mission. Now, the context here is that the Union Cabinet approved the mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses. That this mission is known as National Pulses Mission. Now, this mission was announced in the budget or this year's budget of 2025-26. Now, this topic is relevant, as we know, from GS paper 3 in the agriculture, that is major crops, cropping patterns in various parts of the country. So let's see about this mission. First of all, the news. The news is that the Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, has approved the mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses. It is a landmark initiative aimed at boosting the domestic production, achieving self-sufficiency. So the basic objective, as we see from the news, is that we need to achieve or we need to boost the domestic production, and we need to achieve self-sufficiency or Atmanirbharta in the production of pulses. Why we are targeting this? We are targeting this because India is the world's largest producer of pulses as well as largest consumer of pulses. We consume world's 27% pulses. So 27% of the pulses are consumed by India itself. And in terms of production, if we talk about, the production is 25% of the world. So world's 25% production of pulses is done in India, and world's 27% consumption of pulses is also done in India. So there is a mismatch of 2%. That's why India is a net importer of the pulses. In terms of world trade or global trade, we account for 14 to 15% of the trade in the pulses. So trade wise, consumption wise, as well as production wise, India is an important player in pulses. Now, as we are importing, that means that we are now paying our precious foreign exchange in import of the pulses. And pulses are important for us because the pulses have special importance in India's cropping pattern. Traditionally, we have been producing pulses. Traditionally, we have been cultivating pulses. Pulses are important for nutritional security. They are important for food security. And they are also important because they make the agriculture sustainable. So for a sustainable agriculture, pulses are very important. We are going to see how. The next is pulses consumption is increasing in the country because the overall income of the citizens is increasing. That's why their standard of living is also increasing. Their nutritional requirements are also increasing. That's why the demand of pulses is going to increase in the country. That's why it's important for us that we become self-sufficient in pulses production. Then the pulses import have also increased because of this increase in the consumption. In the recent years, we have seen 15 to 20% increase in the import of the pulses. So in any way, we are losing a lot of foreign exchange in import of the pulses, and that foreign exchange or that money could be made remunerative to the farmers if we are able to push farmers to produce more pulses. That is the objective of this particular mission. Now let's see what is the mission's all guidelines. The first of all, this mission will be for 6 years. starting from 2025, 26 to 2030, 3031. So a total of 6-year time span has been provided, and the budget allocation this year has been given is 11,440 crore rupees. Now, what are going to be the targets? First target is the target of area. We have to increase the net sown area under the pulses. So the target that has been kept is 310 lakh tons. So by 2030-31, or by the end of this mission, we need to achieve the total area under cultivation of pulses as 310 lakh kilo hectares. The second thing is the production. A net production of 350 lakh tons is the target for us by the end of this mission, that is in 2030-31. Also, we are going to focus on the yield. A yield of 1130 kg per hectare is our target. So for that, we need to improve the seed quality. We need to introduce new seeds. Also, we need to focus upon the mechanism or the method of cultivation. We need to improve the, we need to inculcate better methods of cultivation. So these are the basic targets, and for that we need to do a lot of things. Let's see. Next thing is the impact. 2 crore farmers will be impacted. Then 1,000 processing units have been planned that will be installed under this mission, and their objective is to take care of the post-harvest losses. So this processing units will be taking care of the losses that happen after the harvesting, so that the farmer is not losing money, and also we are not losing pulses. Then 100% procurement for tur, urad and masoor dal will be done, and it is a mechanism, or it is a method of incentivizing farmers to produce more of these pulses, and this particular incentive will be given for 4 years, and this procurement will be done at MSP only. So MSP for the pulses will be announced, and on basis of that MSP, the procurement for these 3 pulses will be done. Now next thing is that what is the strategy that we are adopting for this particular mission. A very comprehensive strategy has been taken up. First of all, the whole mission will be done in a cluster based approach. Second thing, we are going to focus on the research part, so that we can have better seed quality, better seeds we can have. Also, we are able to inculcate better methods of cultivation, so that production is also increased. Then seed system, we are going to work upon how the seed disbursement or dissemination will be done. Then area expansion focus will also be there. We are going to increase the net area that is under cultivation of the pulses, so that more production can be done. Then training of farmers will also be taken care of. Then there is post harvest losses. As we have already seen, the processing centers or processing units, 1,000 processing units will be established for taking care of packaging and processing part after post harvesting. Then procurement, the procurement of 3 pulses will be done at the MSP for 4 years, and 100% procurement will be done. Then a mechanism will be established for tracking the global pulses prices, so that the farmers are not affected by the global prices of the pulses, and for that price stability mechanism will be also inculcated in the mission. Then there will be convergence with other agriculture programs. For example, soil health program is there, or advanced irrigation method program is there. So all these things will be inculcated along with this mission. Now first is seeds. There will be development and dissemination of the seeds of higher productivity, pest resistance and climate resistance. The second thing is that 126 lakh quintals of certified seeds will be distributed to the pulse growing farmers. Now one thing is here, that who is growing pulses? Pulses are rain fed crops, and mainly in those states which are dependent upon rain for irrigation, the pulses are being grown. The major production of pulses is done by 3 states, that is Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Rajasthan. So in all these states, rain-fed irrigation is there. This is a rain-fed crop because the requirement of water for pulses is very less. So these states are doing the pulses production, and more or less if we see, the net income of farmer is low as compared to the national average. So if we are focusing, or if we are having a dedicated mission for production or encouragement of the production of the pulses, then these three states are bound to get benefited. Then the average income of the farmer is going to increase. And one more thing, Maharashtra, if you have seen the recent NCRBC data, it has clearly mentioned that the suicide of the farmers are more in the rain-fed area, and Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh are the states which account for a lot of farmer suicides. That area is actually accounting for that. So if we are encouraging the farmers to, or we are supporting the farmers in pulses production, then we are in a way also going to counter this suicide of the farmer issue. Then next, coming back to our topic, then there will be expansion of area under the pulses. The target that we are having is 310 lakh hectares. So addition of 35 lakh hectares has to be done. Now it will be done in two manners. The first is that already there is rice fallow areas, the areas which are having rice production, and for some time they are being kept vacant. That area can be used for pulses production. Also, by the process of intercropping and crop diversification, we can increase the area under pulses. And if we see how we are increasing the production of the pulses, we are taking two things. One is horizontal expansion. Horizontal expansion means that more area has been inculcated under the pulses production or cultivation. That is done through the expansion of the area under pulses cultivation. Second is the vertical expansion. The vertical expansion will be done through the improved seed varieties or through the seed treatment, better seeds, better sowing techniques, better cultivation techniques through them, or through decreasing the post-harvest losses. So there are two mechanisms, vertical expansion and horizontal expansion. So overall production will be done by two mechanisms. One is vertical expansion, another one is horizontal expansion. Now next we come to is that the market and value chain, that is post-harvest infrastructure. The focus will be on reducing crop losses. Second is improving value addition and increasing the farmer income. How the farmer income is going to increase? First of all, we are providing MSP for the pulses. So there is a price, there is a remuneration security for the farmers. Secondly, there will be processing units also that will be installed under this particular mission. Those units are going to ensure that the post-harvest losses are minimal, and that is going to help in improving the farmer's income. Then there will be 1,000 processing units that will be installed under this mission, and subsidy up to 25 lakhs will be provided for installing processing and packaging units. Then, as we've already discussed, the procurement will also be done. The procurement will be done under the PM Asha, and the procurement will be for 3 pulses or 3 dals only: tur, urad and masoor. Then the mission will establish a mechanism for monitoring the global pulse prices so that the farmer can plan in advance regarding the global disturbances that come in the pricing of the pulses. Now these were the basic things that we are going to do in this particular mission. Now lastly is the significance of the mission. The first significance, as the mission it says that there will be Atmanirbharta or self-reliance in the pulses. When we will be self-reliant, then we will not be dependent upon the imports for the pulses. Now, when we are not dependent upon the imports, first of all, we are able to ensure food security and nutritional well-being. So that is very important from the hunger point of view. Second thing is that the foreign exchange bill will also be reduced. We will be able to conserve the valuable foreign exchange. So that will be the second benefit for us. Then there are environmental benefits also. See, pulses are the crops which require very less amount of water, first of all. Secondly, these require very less amount of inputs also, because pulses themselves are leguminous plants. These are leguminous plants. And leguminous plants means that they can fix nitrogen. And mainly in India, our soil is nitrogen deficit. and a lot amount of nitrogen fertilizers like urea and DAP extra is being used. So the use of those fertilizers can be avoided if we are cultivating the pulses crop. So first of all, it is environmentally beneficial because the crop requires very less amount of inputs, and when the less amount of inputs are being required, then the soil health will be better because the chemicals are not being used, the over irrigation is not being done. So one is the soil health. Second is the climate resilient practices, because pulses, as they need less water, so they are climate resilient crops also. They can be grown in rain fed areas also. They can bear extreme situations with respect to crops. So we are moving towards climate resilient practices. Secondly, we are also focusing on improving the soil health. The soil health is being improved in two manners. The first manner is that the pulses need less amount of fertilizers. Second is that the pulses also nourishes the soil, because these are leguminous crops, and as they are leguminous crops, that's why they make the soil rich in nitrogen related fertilizers or nutrients. Then it will be also helping us in making productive use of the crop fallow areas. The crop fallow areas which are lying vacant, which in which the rice or wheat crop production is not very much feasible. In those areas, the pulses can be grown. So we are bringing new area under cultivation. So these are environmentally beneficial also. Now one more thing. First of all, these are leguminous crops, so they are improving the soil health. The input cost is also come. So in a way, it is a win-win situation for the farmer, because the input cost is decreasing, the soil health is being maintained. Then thirdly, under this mission, the farmer will be provided the MSP, or a guarantee that the procurement will be done by the government. So it is going to boost the farmer's income, and the farmer incomes of those areas which are rain-fed areas, which are under stress, where we see more number of farmer suicides, those areas will be benefited most. So it will also boost the farmer's income. Lastly, it will play a role in the food security and nutritional well-being, because pulses are rich in protein, and we will be having vegetarian sources for the protein that is lacking in our population. So in a way, we are also going to counter the hunger and malnutrition that is prevalent in the country. So this mission will be beneficial for all. It will be beneficial for the consumers, for the farmers, as well as for the environment. So the mission is going to ensure that the food security, nutritional well-being, sustainability of the agriculture in terms of both environment as well as for the farmer will be ensured by this mission. Now, after this discussion, it's your turn. You have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the second topic. The second topic we are having is Biostimulants Banned. Now, what is the backdrop here? The backdrop is that on the objection from Hindu and Jain communities, animal-based biostimulants have been removed from the FCO list. The FCO list is Fertilizer Control Order list that was passed in 1985, and this list has been amended as per the requirement. Now, this topic becomes relevant from basically GS paper 3, or you can say from the prelims point of view in the science and technology portion. The question can be like this, that what are biostimulants? Question can be upon the definition or upon the characteristics of it, that are they different from fertilizers, or are they kind of fertilizer? So that we are going to see. Now, first of all, the news is that the Ministry of Agriculture has removed 11 biostimulants that are animal based. So animal based biostimulants have been withdrawn that were being produced from chicken feathers or pig tissues or bovine hides or coat scales. And the concern here, or the reason here, is the religious and dietary restrictions of certain communities like Jains and Hindus. And it is including protein hydrolysate biostimulants that have been removed. Now, this protein hydrolysate biostimulants are formed from the amino acids and peptides. These are actually a mixture of these amino acids and peptides which are formed after the breaking down of the protein. So protein, after breaking down it into the constituents, that is amino acids and peptides, a mixture of it is known as protein hydrolysate biostimulants. They are also derived from plants, and also they are derived from the animal sources. So these protein hydrolysates are derived from both the sources, from the plants as well as from the animals. Now next thing is, what are biostimulants? These are substances or microorganisms or a combination of both that stimulate a plant processes to improve the nutrient uptake, its growth, its yield, quality or stress tolerance. So basically they stimulate a plant so that its growth can be increased, its yield can be increased, its quality can be better, the fruit quality, the leaves quality can be better, and the stress tolerance can also be increased. Now how they are different from fertilizers and consumers, fertilizers and pesticides? The fertilizers directly supply the nutrients. The biostimulants do not supply nutrients directly. They actually impact or stimulate the natural psychological processes of the plant. So they act as catalyst rather than for supplying the nutrients. Also, they do not control the pest. So that's why they are different from fertilizers as well as from the pesticides. Although they can stimulate the plant to release some chemicals which can control the pest. So neither they are directly controlling the pest, neither they are directly supplying the nutrients. So that's why biostimulants are a separate category. They are not included in fertilizers, neither they are included in the pesticides. Next thing, now they stimulate the plant's natural physiological processes. Now what are the uses? The uses include boosting seed germination and root development, because they stimulate a plant for the growth. So there can be boost to the seed germination, or there can be boost to the root development. These biostimulants are basically sprayed upon the plants. And then next is, they enhance the nutrition efficiency and photosynthesis. They help in improving the fruit set, their size and quality. They increase drought resistance to drought, salinity and heat. So they help in multiple ways. They overall stimulate a plant depending upon what kind of biostimulant you are using. The next is, according to Fortune Business Insights, the total market for biostimulants in the country is around 335.53 million, and it is expected that it is go up to $1.1 billion by 2032. So a big market is there for these biostimulants. The major producing companies include Coromandel International, then Godrej Agrovet or Syngenta. The biostimulants are usually sold over the counter in liquid form and are sprayed upon the crops. We have already discussed this. Now last part is that what are the various kinds or how the biostimulants are classified. So the Schedule 6 of FCO 1985, it classifies the biostimulants as, first one is botanical extracts including seaweed extracts, then biochemicals, protein hydrolysates and amino acids, then vitamins, cell-free microbial products, antioxidants, they can also be biostimulants, then antitransparents, then humic and fulvic acid and their derivatives, then live microorganisms excluding biofertilizers and biopesticides. So these are the kinds of biostimulants. Now it's your turn. You have to attempt this MCQ and you post your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the third topic. The third topic we are having is the Sir Creeks dispute. Now what is the backdrop? The backdrop is that it is a disputed region between India and Pakistan, and both the countries are building up infrastructure there. Now India has already built up that. Pakistan is now trying to misadventure it, and it is trying to occupy certain areas. In this context, this news is important for us. Now relevance is GS paper 2 in international relations, India and its neighborhood relations. Now what is the news? The news is that our Defense Minister Sri Rajnath Singh is on visit to Lucky Nala military garrison, Sar Creek, Kutch, Gujarat. Now he has performed the Shastra Puja on the Vijayadashmi, on the occasion of Dashera or Vijayadashmi, and observed a multi-agency military exercise there. There he addressed the military as well as the nation and said that there is a warning to Pakistan. The new military infrastructure by the Pakistan along the Sar Creek stretch has been pointed out, and he warned Pakistan against any misadventure, stating a strong response would change both history and geography. So a very strong message has been given by our defense minister that any kind of misadventure by Pakistan over the Sir Creek will not be dealt in an easy manner. It will be hard way the Pakistan is going to be dealt in. Now, our area of concern here is, where is this Sir Creek? What is the dispute here? So Sir Creek is the area in the Kutch region. India's Kutch district and Pakistan's Sindh district are other districts between which this Sir Creek area is there. Now, Karachi is there close by in this Sindh province. It is a disputed tidal estuary and not a very high profile war zone. So there has not been a war here. It is only disputed territory. India is saying that this part is ours and Pakistan is claiming another part. Now, next thing is that how has been the history of this thing? The history has been very simple. The whole dispute has arisen because there is ambiguity in the 1925 Bombay Presidency map. Because this map was ambiguous and this ambiguity was carried on till independence in 1947. Both the countries have inherited an unclear demarcation leading to disputes. In 1965 war also, it was not a major battlefield, but tensions remained in this particular region. So there was not any war that or any conflict didn't break out in this region, but still there were tensions in this region that a war can break out. Then in 1968-69, both sides agreed for a joint survey, but the final settlement was never reached. Now, what is the issue here? The issue is that Pakistan is saying that this green line, that is the boundary of Pakistan, and India is saying at the middle of this Sir Creek, the red line which is shown here, it is the boundary of this. It is the boundary of the Indian and Pakistan territories. So this is a dispute. Pakistan is saying the easternmost portion of this Sir Creek should be part of the Pakistan's territory, whereas India is saying the Sir Creek should be divided in the middle, half part to Pakistan, half part to India. Now, how do we decide that what should be the area or what should be the boundary in a river or a drain that is flowing? So for that, Thalweg principle is being used. Thalweg principle in the international law is used for demarcating boundaries along the navigable rivers or water bodies shared by two countries. It says that a boundary is drawn along the Thalweg. What is Thalweg? Thalweg is the line connecting the deepest point of the main navigable channel of the river. So whatever is the deepest point, those deepest points will be connected and that will give a Thalweg. So Thalweg is a line that is connecting the deepest point of the navigable water body. It may be it river or it may be lake, and that will demarcate the boundaries of two countries. So based upon that only, India has said that the boundary should be at the middle of the Sir Creek, whereas Pakistan is saying that the boundary should be at the easternmost portion. So that is the conflict between these two countries. Now, why this Sir Creek is important for us? First of all, exclusive economic zone, because Sir Creek is an area which is rich in resources, like we have fishing here. There is potential oil and gas reserves that can be found in this region. So this Sir Creek will affect the maritime boundaries, which is going to affect the fishing as well as the oil and gas reserves that are available in this particular region. Then navigation security. Control over the creek is crucial for coastal security and naval movement in the region. Then fisheries, as we have already discussed, the livelihood of many communities which are residing in this area, they depend upon this demarcation of the Sir Creek. Now, based upon this, you have to attempt the MCQ and you have to post your answers in the comment box, and we are going to move to the fourth topic. The fourth topic is safeguarding digital economy. Now, what is the backdrop? The backdrop is very simple. Our transactions, our dependence upon the digital economy infrastructure is very, very high. Most of the transactions done by a common man are through the UPI or UPI related apps. Internet banking is also, we are seeing an increase in the use of internet banking also, and our banks are connected with the mobile phones as well as through internet banking, and these things are leading to increasing cyber frauds. So in this context, we are going to discuss this topic, the increasing cyber frauds, why they are happening, and what measures should be taken at the government level as well as the individual level. Now this topic is relevant from the governance point of view. So this topic can be included in GS paper 2, that's the governance part, what the government can do. Secondly, it is more relevant from GS paper 3, awareness in the field of IT, space and computers. Also this topic can be linked with the GS paper 3 in the economy portion, because we are talking about digital economy. So this particular topic has multiple linkages. Now let's move to the topic. The topic is that how to safeguard India's digital economy. So as we are seeing, India is going through a phase of digital transformation. In last 7-8 years, we have seen the transactions getting digitalized. A lot of transactions on daily basis are getting digitalized. Even there are times when we are not having cash in our pockets and we are totally relied upon the digital transactions through UPI. And UPI is used everywhere in the country. In the remotest of the areas, we are finding QR codes which are being used for the digital transactions, and it has been become possible because of the government's effort as well as the internet reach in the remotest areas. Now, India's digital transformation is driven by the affordable internet, digital banking, and the e-commerce. E-commerce has also increased. The Amazon, the Flipkart, the sale was right now. Yesterday itself it has ended. Has improved convenience and inclusion. However, it has also created fertile grounds for the cybercrime. Why cyber crimes? Because cyber criminals are trying to find the loopholes from where they can conduct these frauds, and frauds are of multiple types. Modern frauds exploit the system loopholes and human psychology rather than hacking skills. So the frauds that are happening today are not because the software engineers are engaged in these frauds. It is not because the hackers are engaged in these frauds. It is because they are now exploiting the human psychology. How human psychology? They are using tools like fear, greed, urgency, and through social engineering. How fear? If you are not going to do this thing, or if you are not going to proceed with this, then your bank account will be frozen, or your whole amount will be transferred to the government. They are using things like digital arrest. They are intimidating the person, or they are threatening the person through the digital arrests. So these things are happening. They are creating they are moving so fast, and they are communicating so fast with you that you don't get time to understand what is happening. So the sense of urgency they are using to conduct these cyber frauds. Also, they are using the element of greed, that you invest here and you will be your investment will be double. So these things are happening, and who are being affected? Who are the vulnerables? Vulnerables like elderly citizens who are not aware about the digital transactions, who are not well to do with the mobiles or the digital items. Then rural population, again they are not aware about. Then there are job seekers and loan applicants who have desperate financial needs. So those are the targets of these cyber criminals, where they are conducting the frauds, and their hard-earned money is being siphoned off through these frauds to these cyber criminals. Now, what are the common types of digital frauds? We are seeing phishing attacks, where fake emails and messages are used for stealing the sensitive data. Messages will be coming which are written with viruses, and they will be stealing your data, or they will be taking the control of your device. Then we have OTP and UPI frauds, where the users are being tricked for authorizing transactions unknowingly. Identity theft is also being done. For example, misuse of Aadhaar, PAN card, or bank details, because these details are easily available with the fraudsters. Then loan and job scams are also there. They are targeting financially vulnerable groups. And digital arrests are also happening. This is a new trend that we are seeing from the last 1.5 years. Criminals are impersonating of police and government agencies, and then they are extracting out money from you. So these kinds of frauds are now happening, and they are on an increase. Now, what is the problem with us? Because there are certain systematic challenges. First of all, the bank advices that are being given, they are generic in nature, and more or less we are listening to them, but we are not implementing those things, so we are not paying full attention to those things. Secondly, the mule accounts are still active because the KYC is weak in the country. we need to improve the KYC so that the mule accounts can be closed down. These mule accounts are used for conducting these cyber frauds. Your money will be transferred to these mule accounts and then to another mule accounts, and the tracing will become very difficult because there will be layering through these mule accounts. Then customer data often circulates insecurely and accessible to the fraudsters. That is another problem. The cyber police is under-equipped. They do not have proper technology training or workforce to track these cyber frauds. So the people also are not having full trust on this cyber police. So due to this lack of faith and stigma, many of the frauds are getting unreported, and when these frauds go unreported, then they encourage the cyber criminals to do more frauds. So these are the systematic challenges that we are facing in the context of the safeguarding of our digital economy, and that's why we are facing so many frauds. The next thing is fraud pattern and warning. Now, whenever a fraud is being conducted, we need to observe what is happening. Only then we will be able to take a certain action. First of all, there is a large scale transfer that happens during a fraud. So transactions are far above the normal account activity. So if anything like this happens, that should be at that time, at that particular time, it should be immediately stopped. Then frequency of the debits, multiple high value transactions in short intervals are done. If this kind of thing is being done, then there should be automatic stoppage of the transactions. Then destination patterns are there. For example, the funds are funneled to mule accounts with fake or incomplete KYCs dispersed rapidly across the banks. That is known as layering, because we are creating so many layers that identifying where the money has gone will become very difficult. So we need to improve the KYC also. And if thing is happening that the transactions are in a continuous chain, those transactions should be frozen at that particular moment itself. Then monitoring gaps are also there. The banks often fail to send verification alert to the account holders, and due to these issues, the cyber frauds are being happening. And if we are able to tackle these basic characteristics that are happening during a fraud, we will be able to curb down the cyber frauds as well. Now next is the AI or the machine learning can be very, very instrumental in stopping these frauds. So here the use of AI or the application of AI can be important in tackling the cyber frauds. First of all, personalized transaction profiling can be done. Map the typical transaction size, frequency, timing and risk category. Based upon that, if there is any aberration, the transaction should be stopped immediately and the consent of the person has to be taken. So generate the targeted alerts for unusual activity. So any kind of unusual activity can be easily tracked by the AI or machine learning. Then detection of the anonymous patterns, like flag one-off transfer, multiple debits, sudden inflows into the mule account. That can be another thing in identifying the mule accounts. Temporarily blocks suspicious transactions until verified. Then cross-institutional monitoring. Share alerts in real time across banks, payment systems and telecom providers. Then prevent fraudsters from exploiting institutional gaps. So that can be done through AI. Then empowering the cyber police, that we can do. We need to make them AI enabled for real-time detection and swift action within 24-hour crucial window. The support the global data sharing and international cooperation, because for cyber criminals there are no boundaries. Even the interstate coordination is very, very important, because many times the frauds are being conducted in the remote areas. To those areas even the police is not able to reach. So we need to have proper interstate coordination as well. Then strengthening bank accountability, adopt AI driven monitoring, plug KYC gaps and use blockchain for secure tamper-proof customer data management. So AI can be instrumental in these manner for stopping these cyber frauds. Then way forward, what other things can be done? The first one, shift to protection first framework. That is very important. We need to protect rather than going for inquiry or other things or bringing back the money. we should be focusing on the protection first network, centralizing citizen safety and digital trust. Then tighten KYC, that should be done on the bank side. Audit mule accounts, wherever mule accounts are there, audit them, go for the KYC. Secure customer data and ensure swift compensation. Third, cyber police, establish a 24/7 rapid response unit. They should be equipped with better tools, and they should be trained workforce according to the new paradigms in the cyber fraud that are coming up. Then international cooperation is also required to combat the globalized frauds. The goal should be to make India's digital economy from vulnerable to resilient. Then only the confidence of the citizens will be there in the digital economy, and that will be the future of the country. Now, based upon this, you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to answer in the comment box. And let's move to the fifth or the last topic. The last topic is e-waste management in the decoded section. Now, why e-waste management? Because the electronic waste in the country is increasing at a tremendous rate. Everything that we see, car, mobiles, we have the tablets, the laptops, we have the television sets, we have, or the home equipments like microwave oven, even the fans we have, all are getting electronized, all are having chips, all are having semiconductors. So we are generating a lot of electronic waste, and this electronic waste is having those elements, having those substances which are very harmful for the environment. So it becomes very important for us to have a proper e-waste management system in the country. So the backdrop here is rising e-waste and the threats to the ecology. The topic is relevant from GS paper 3, ecology, environment, pollution and degradation. Now, first of all, the cost of convenience, that is the heading given by the Hindu newspaper. Health hazards as side effects of using digital tools. Now, India's digital transformation has boosted communication, education, commerce and governance. Everywhere we see the electronics. But it has also created an escalating e-waste crisis impacting the public health and the environment. How? First of all, the e-waste. How much e-waste we are generating? So, India generates around 2.2 million metric tons of e-waste in 2025 itself, yani this year itself. It has not completed yet. It is ranked third after China and USA in terms of generating e-waste. It has increased 150 times since 2017-18. E-waste is expected to double by 2030. So by 2030, we will be generating 4.4 million metric tons of e-waste. Now, the concentration is more in urban areas. 60% of the e-waste is coming only from 65 cities like Delhi, Moradabad, Bhiwadi. Only 332 registered formal recycling firms are there. And most of the recycling or most of the e-waste management is done by the informal units. That is a problem for us, because these informal recycling processing units actually employ the rudimentary methods of recycling. They are carried out by kabadiwalas, scrap dealers and slum workers who are not well trained to deal with the e-waste. They use techniques like manual dismantling, open air burning, acid leaching and unscientific dumping. And all these are harmful for their health, for the people living around there and for the environment also. So these things need to be changed. Now, what are the problems? First of all, there is no use of protective gear, there is lack of protective gear, and and exposes them to the risk of, for example, acid leaching, risk of open air burning. So they are being exposed. Next, there is release of more than 1,000 toxic substances when these e-waste is being managed, like during burning or acid leaching. Heavy metals like lead, cadmium, mercury, chromium are being released. Persistent organic pollutants, dioxins, furans, brominated flame retardants are being released, which are cancerous also. Then particulate matter of 2.5 and PM particulate matter of 10 is also being released, and it is released in excess of 12 times as per the WHO limit. So what if WHO limit is 1, they are being released 12 units are being released. So 12 times more release of these particulate matter is there as per the WHO norms. Now, what is the impact on the health? First of all, there are long-term impacts like lung damage, endocrine disruption, potential DNA damage. If you talk about the respiratory illness, the fine particulate matter and the toxic gases cause chronic bronchitis, asthma and breathlessness. So सीधा सीधा lung के ऊपर असर पड़ता है. Then neurological and damage and developmental delays are also there. It is due to the neurotoxins, we can say, lead, mercury and cadmium. So they are being released from this e-waste and they affect the neurological cycle of the person. And most effect is on the children, because children are also being employed. Whenever the parents are working, the children are also helping them in e-waste management. So it is impacting the children more. The blood levels having more than 5 microgram per dl are linked with cognitive impairment, reduced IQ and behavioral disorders. Then skin and ocular disorders are also there, because the direct contact with hazardous substances lead to rashes, chemical burns, dermatitis and eye irritation. High incidence of home-based workshop and recycling hubs is being observed. These skin related disorders are observed are of high incidence in the home-based workshops and the recycling hubs. Then genetic and systemic impact. DNA damage, abnormal epigenetic changes, oxidative stresses can also be there. Children are particularly vulnerable because they are helping the parents and they are not resilient enough, so they are impacted more by these chemicals. Then the increased vulnerabilities in the informal handling of the e-waste. First of all, there are health risks. They are compounded by the poverty, because most of this informal handling is done by the people who are not well off, who are in the poor category. So this health risks are compounded. First of all, they are being exposed to these chemicals. Along with that, the poverty, malnutrition and lack of health care and unsafe housing, they are compounding these health risks. Second, children, they often assist the parents in informal recycling, and that is exposing them for the long-term hazards. Then it creates a syndemic environment where multiple diseases interact, worsening the outcome. So there are multiple health impacts, multiple diseases are there. Those diseases cannot be taken care of easily because healthcare facilities are not available. And when these multiple diseases are affecting a person, their impact actually increases, and more impact is seen in the children. So this is the overall impact on the health of these e-waste management, so the informal recycling units. Then what is the policy framework that we are having? The policy framework says there is a e-waste management rule of 2022 that was recently brought in, and it has strengthened the extended producer responsibility. What is this extended producer responsibility? For example, you might have seen in Amazon that you can return your phone to the company and they are going to deduct certain amount and the final price will be minus of that, or you will be provided a discount if you are submitting your mobile phone. That comes under extended producer responsibility. Any producer of electronics in the country, it has to ensure that after that particular product has been used, it has to be brought back to it and it has to be recycled in a proper manner. So it is the responsibility of the producer of the electronics that they have to retrieve back, or they have to collect back the disposed of electronic units. That's what we see whenever you are buying an Apple phone or a Samsung phone or any phone. There's a discount if you are submitting your old phone. So that is strategy being used to overcome this to fulfill this extended producer's responsibility. The next is there is mandatory registration of the dismantlers and recyclers. Already a very few have been registered. Then incentive of formalization and scientific handling. Then what are the challenges? Informal sector still handles most e-waste. Only 43% of the e-waste are processed officially, and EPR credit pricing leads to slow enforcement. Then lastly, what is the way forward? The way forward is, first of all, make the things formal. The skill certification should be provided, training should be provided, safe infrastructure, healthcare access, social insecurity should be provided to the persons who are handling the e-waste. Secondly, strengthening enforcement. empower the pollution control boards, introduce digital tracking of the e-waste, that can be a good step. Then mandate environmental audits, so this can be done. Then medical surveillance, health camps and long-term studies, particularly in the children in the e-waste hotspots. So there are spots where the whole e-waste is being brought. In those hotspots, medical surveillance can be brought in. Then innovation in the recycling, support R&D for the affordable local recycling technology should be developed. Promote decentralized treatment hubs for efficiency. Then awareness and education, mass campaign on e-waste hazards should be conducted. Include e-waste education in the schools to foster public responsibility. So to conclude, we can say that India is facing a toxic tipping point. The digital growth cannot compromise the public health or the environment. That is the basic question that we are having in front of us. Urgent systematic reforms are required to transform e-waste management science-driven, socially responsible and technologically empowered. The goal should be to ensure technology uplifts human health and dignity rather than undermining it. So technology should be uplifting the human health and dignity rather than undermining it. Now with this we conclude for the day, and you have this mains answer, mains question that you can attempt based upon the discussion that we had. Thank you very much.